Have you ever questioned the boundary between freedom of speech and relentless criticism? Let's dive into the world of Piers Morgan, the former Good Morning Britain host, a man known for his outspoken nature and controversial stance on Meghan Markle. Morgan has been quite open about his disdain for Markle, with his relentless commentary on her making headlines more often than not. But what happens when this criticism is put under scrutiny? Enter the Office of Communications, or Ofcom, the UK's government-approved regulatory authority for broadcasting. After a thorough investigation, Ofcom cleared Morgan of any wrongdoing over his comments on Markle, a verdict that was met with jubilation from Morgan. The verdict stated that Morgan was entitled to disbelieve Markle and Prince Harry, and that any attempt to restrict his right to do so would be a chilling restriction on freedom of expression. This ruling was celebrated by Morgan, who saw it not just as a personal victory, but as a triumph for free speech. In Morgan's perspective, his refusal to believe a woman who candidly shared her struggles isn't merely his right, it's a noble stand for free speech. But this interpretation hasn't been universally accepted. There are those who view Morgan's actions as less about protecting free speech, and more about a relentless campaign against Meghan Markle, a woman who courageously shared her truth. One such critic is Dr. Shola, a vocal defender of Meghan and Harry. Dr. Shola didn't hold back in expressing her disagreement with the Ofcom ruling, calling it bullshit. According to her, Morgan's conduct was offensive and irresponsible, and the ruling showed a lack of accountability. So, we're left with a question. Is this really about free speech, or is it about the unchecked criticism of a woman who sought to share her personal experience? But what happens when this noble stand is challenged? Enter Dr. Shola. What if someone had the courage to call out the so-called noble stand? Enter Dr. Shola, a woman who's no stranger to speaking her mind and standing her ground. A fierce advocate for justice, she's been one of the most vocal critics of Piers Morgan and his relentless attacks on Meghan Markle. When the Ofcom ruling came out, clearing Piers of any wrongdoing, it wasn't long before Dr. Shola voiced her disdain. She didn't sugarcoat her words, nor did she hesitate to speak out. She called the ruling what it was, in her eyes, a complete and utter travesty. Dr. Shola took to social media, declaring, "Anything critical I've ever said about Piers Morgan I have said to his face, unfiltered and unequivocal. Ofcom ruling on his conduct re Meghan Markle is bullshit. Piers was offensive and irresponsible." In Dr. Shola's view, this isn't a matter of freedom of speech. It's not about differing opinions. It's about a relentless campaign against Meghan Markle, a woman who dared to share her truth, a woman who had the audacity to open up about her struggles, only to be met with scorn and disbelief from a man who seems to relish in his ability to denigrate and dismiss her experiences. And let's not forget, this isn't the first time Dr. Shola has stepped up to defend Meghan and Harry. Time and time again, she's stood her ground, calling out the blatant racism Meghan has faced, defending Harry's decision to protect his family, and shining a light on the double standards that often plague royal coverage. While Piers Morgan continues his fixation with Meghan Markle, Dr. Shola is out here holding people accountable. She's not just talking the talk, she's walking the walk, and she's not afraid to say it to anyone's face. Dr. Shola's words echo with power and truth. But how has she made a difference? What does it take to consistently stand up against a powerful media figure and a biased system? Let's take a moment to delve into the story of Dr. Shola. This is a woman who has consistently defended Meghan Markle and Prince Harry against the relentless onslaught from the British media. Despite the storm of controversy, she has never wavered in her support, demonstrating a level of courage and integrity that is truly rare. Dr. Shola doesn't just defend, she exposes. She shines a spotlight on the double standards in the coverage of the royal couple. She's not afraid to call out the bias, the prejudice, and the outright lies that are often peddled under the banner of freedom of speech. She's a firm believer in the power of truth, and she's not afraid to use it. And let's not forget her unwavering commitment to holding people accountable. When Piers Morgan celebrated his vindication by Ofcom, Dr. Shola was not afraid to call him out. She labelled the ruling for what it was, and she didn't mince her words. This wasn't about protecting freedom of speech, she argued, but about enabling a relentless campaign of harassment against a woman who had simply shared her truth. Dr. Shola has shown us that standing up for what's right isn't always easy. It means swimming against the tide, challenging powerful figures and risking backlash. But it's a challenge she's willingly accepted, time and time again. In a world where Piers Morgan remains obsessively fixated on Meghan Markle, Dr. Shola provides a much-needed counterpoint. She's a beacon of accountability, a voice for those who are often silenced, and a testament to the power of standing your ground. While Piers Morgan remains fixated on Meghan Markle, Dr. Shola continues to fight for accountability. But what is your take on this? Do you believe that Ofcom's ruling was fair, or was it protecting the wrong people? This is a question that has been reverberating through the corridors of public opinion, across the digital landscape, and perhaps even in your own mind. It's a complex issue, one that sits at the intersection of freedom of speech and the responsibility of the media. It's a conversation that is as much about the individuals involved as it is about the larger societal structures that they represent. The power of conversation, of sharing perspectives, is often underestimated. It is through these discussions that we gain insight, broaden our understanding, and challenge our preconceived notions. It's how we grow, collectively and individually. So let's talk about it. Let's dive into this thought-provoking debate. What are your thoughts on Piers Morgan's relentless critique of Meghan Markle? Do you see it as an exercise in free speech or an abusive campaign against a woman sharing her personal experiences? And what about Dr. Shola Mos-Shogbamimu's stance? Do you agree with her perspective that the Ofcom ruling is less about protecting freedom of speech and more about absolving irresponsible behaviour? Your voice matters. Your opinion counts. It's through these exchanges that we can shape the narrative, that we can hold the powerful accountable, that we can strive for a more balanced and fair media landscape. So let's engage. Let's share. Let's learn from each other. Let's navigate the complexities of this issue together. Remember, this isn't just about Piers Morgan or Meghan Markle or Dr. Shola Mos-Shogbamimu. It's about us. It's about our society. It's about understanding the dynamics of power, privilege, and responsibility. So don't hold back. Share your thoughts, your insights, your perspectives. Let's keep this conversation alive. Let's keep pushing for accountability, for understanding, for change. Share your thoughts in the comments and subscribe for more updates on this ongoing debate. As we conclude, remember that every story has multiple perspectives. This narrative involving Piers Morgan and Meghan Markle is no exception. We've journeyed through the controversial stand of Piers Morgan, a former host of Good Morning Britain, who never shied away from expressing his disbelief in Meghan Markle's experiences. He viewed this not only as his right, but also as a noble stand for free speech, an interpretation that was ultimately supported by Ofcom. Then we encountered Dr. Shola Mos-Shogbamimu's powerful counter-response. As one of the most vocal defenders of Meghan and Harry, she didn't hold back in her criticism of both Morgan and Ofcom's ruling. She insisted that this wasn't about a difference of opinion or freedom of speech, but rather a relentless campaign waged against Meghan Markle, a woman who merely shared her truth. Through Dr. Shola's consistent stance, we observed her commitment to holding people accountable, even when faced with the towering force of the British media. She's been a beacon of strength and determination, fearlessly calling out the racism Meghan faced, defending Harry's decision to protect his family, and shedding light on the double standards in royal coverage. As we reflect on these perspectives, it's crucial to remember that understanding different viewpoints is key to forming a well-rounded opinion. This isn't about picking sides. It's about acknowledging the complexity of the narrative and appreciating the courage it takes for individuals to speak their truth, whether it aligns with our beliefs or not. So, as we wrap up this discussion, let's not forget that the conversation doesn't end here. There are countless stories, countless perspectives, and countless truths waiting to be heard and understood. Remember, your voice matters. So speak up, join the conversation, and let's keep the debate alive.